right in front of us.
A ver, buenos días, señores, ¿cómo están? Aquí nuevamente en el Polaris Controls Live 2023, hoy con Jay Lazaro,
Our favorite.
transmitiendo directamente de Canadá. Los dejo con Manfredo.
Thank you, Jay. Welcome. This is our fourth session, and looking forward to hear from you.
Fourth session? I thought there was only one session.
Yeah. For the 11:30, it's only
Right.
you.
Okay, understand now. Good morning, buenos dias from Vancouver, Canada.
All right. Tell us about yourself before you crank up with the presentation.
My name is Jay Lazaro. I've worked with the Polaris team for several years. I'm a member of the Sonance international team. I've been with Sonance for about 20-something odd years. And I cover the Americas. So I've been put in the responsibility of Canada, which is where I'm at now, and Latin America, which is the other territory I serve. We work hard to bond with the integrators in both those markets through Polaris controls, especially in Latin America. And I'm excited to be on this call for a half hour or so with you guys today. I really love it when you guys do these events. It's fun.
All right. So go ahead. Yes.
Okay. I think I'm not sure who is attending today. If you're familiar with me or familiar with Sonance, I think you know we really appreciate spending time directly with our integrators across Latin America. Unfortunately, my Spanish is not good in the business side. After Cervezas, I'm pretty good on the tourist side of Spanish. So I'm going to do my presentation in English, but I will give some tools that we have converted into Spanish as well. I think the focus for us right now is to make sure that we're providing as much value to the integrator as possible, especially when it comes to helping them with tools that communicate how the integrator can present to the end user how audio is used in their life. If any of you are joining us at CEDIA this year, Sonance is going to be 40 years old. That means Manfredo was in diapers when he's starting to sell Sonance. So he's also been with the company for a while. And then at CEDIA, we're also launching some integration features as well as some special things that are going to be included in the portfolio of products with Sonance. So what I'm going to do today is focus on a tool specifically that every integrator on this call can use today that helps them present the way that audio can be used in people's lives in their home, as well as what it looks like when it's finally installed, but they get to use this tool so that the customer understands well before their project is finished how technology might look in the space. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Manfredo, I'm going to attempt to screen with my iPad. I'm going to share with my iPad.
Yeah.
Because I think it's best served up from doing that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just doing a simple screen share to the Zoom interface. And Manfredo, you should see my iPad here in just a moment.
All right.
It's trying.
Yeah. It's a starter. It's started already to share, but still blank.
Okay. Here's what I'll do. As a backup plan, I'll go to our web interface, something maybe with the hotel. So if you should see my screen, looking at the YouTube page for Sonance. I'm going to switch pages to this interface called the Sonance Design Gallery. So can you see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So every person on this call can use this tool today. You can go to www.sonance.com, or any of you that are familiar with my.sonance and are using our interactive portal to communicate with Sonance or trade with us, there is this resources page which you can go to that gives you our knowledge base, our Studio 360, our design services, and the Sonance Design Gallery. So you can access the Sonance Design Gallery from My Sonance directly here, or you can go from my.mysonance.com, our end user website, or you can simply type in sonancedesigngallery.com. What we have here are 3 interfaces that show your end users, your trade partners, how audio is used in their life. The one over to the far right here is the marine interface. This is coming soon. This is for our super yacht channel. This is for Rafael's boat, which I know is under development outside of Veracruz. And so we're waiting for his boat to get done so we can shoot photographs of the speakers that are integrated into his super yacht. The other 2 channels that we have are commercial and residential. I'm going to spend a few minutes on each one of them. Manfredo, if you will just keep me on track with time, I'll make sure that I get through both of these.
Sure, you got it.
Okay, I'm going to launch the residential interface. Here you see the screen that shows you what we believe are the 4 ways that people use music inside their home outside of 2-channel hi-fi. 2-channel hi-fi is very specific. We all know that when you put a pair of speakers in a room, the only thing that people do for 2-channel hi-fi inside that space is listen to hi-fi. These other 4 disciplines on how audio is used in the home: music for your home on the top left, music outside, TV audio. This is something we're really excited to talk about, especially at CEDIA coming up, and surround sound are the areas where audio is part of the experience, but not the primary experience. So I'm going to go into any one of these. I'm going to pick TV audio. This is an area we're really focused in on at CEDIA, as well as our studio that's under remodel right now. Here we give you the ability to show the client how technology is going to look in the space, specifically when it comes to audio for TVs. I think all of us on the call and all of us on the industry would admit that TVs are becoming really, really enhanced and high performance in terms of the video capability, but they lack performance when it comes to audio. The speakers suck in a sense, right? So what do we do as integrators? We want to increase the performance of audio playback when watching video or program material for video. So this is an area where we can help you present to the client how they want to serve up audio for their TV installations, whether it's in a bedroom, a living room, a media space. And if you can see my mouse, I can either click on TV audio, or I can just simply click on this thumbnail right here. The first experience we can talk about with customers beyond the speakers in a TV is a consumer soundbar. A lot of that is Sonos, Bose, the various types of consumer brands out there that have some sort of wireless powered soundbar. And people choose these because it is a step up in performance for audio for the TV. But once they actually see how these things are installed, and many times they don't know how they look when they're installed, they can make more informed decisions on what's best for the space, not just for the audio performance, but for the aesthetics. So they can see this interface and say, okay, that's what a powered consumer soundbar is going to look like. Well, the other things we can do as integrators is we can show them how technology meets the design. In this case, we have a built to match TV soundbar for James Loudspeaker. If you're not familiar with James Loudspeaker, the Polaris team can help you understand that we can build any product for your project, especially when it comes to a TV. We can build the soundbar to fit the exact specifications of the TV, knowing that the customer might appreciate the overall aesthetics, inclusive of the performance, outside of a powered soundbar, which you see here, to a custom-built passive TV soundbar from James Loudspeaker. Take that a step further. We can do architectural audio, help the customer make an informed decision. Do you prefer in-wall speakers that are painted with grills that look like this? Or do you prefer a custom-matched TV soundbar? Or do you prefer a consumer soundbar? At the end of the day, our philosophy is hiding technology. We believe that our invisible speaker technology is bridging the gap of performance and that perfection of design, because you don't see any technology. So at the end of the day, you can give the customer, using this interface, an informed option on how performance is going to be better for the TV but how it's going to be affected when it's finally installed. Inevitably, the idea of invisible speakers or in-ceiling speakers are appealing because it doesn't detract from the overall look of the space. I think if we use this tool and show the customer how things work in the space and also how they look, they will make more informed decisions. So we call that TV audio. We're going to be really focused on this at CEDIA, and this is something you can test drive now through the Sonance Design Gallery. The other interface that I like to use is music for your home. This is the area where music is everywhere. If you look at this video, you see this interface using what we call sound mist. And this is the experience of walking through sound, having sound everywhere. And in a space where you're doing entertaining and living, you're not sitting in just one space. You might be moving around the space the entire time. This is Ariel's new home that was just finished in Miami. He also erected a mountain behind it, so it doesn't look like Miami anymore. In addition, once the customer understands that music for entertainment spaces are all around you, you can help them discover this further by the fact that we need to make sure that we have complete coverage. A lot of you that are familiar with Sonance have heard us talk about lighting and the effects of good lighting and the lack of coverage or the appropriate amount of coverage. So in this interface, you see this slider bar at the bottom. We can show a client how one pair of speakers radiates in a given area of the space. What we're driving here is that we're not covering the entire space. We create this analogy with speakers, but we can also translate it to lights so that when you see a pair of lights over a countertop like this isn't comfortable. This is more like an interrogation space than a comfortable kitchen. So we talk a lot about lack of coverage and using the appropriate amount of lights or the appropriate amount of speakers to have that even balanced coverage that you would see in a well-designed lighting system. So we give you these slides and this interface so that you can show the client how music is going to be used in their life throughout the space. This really helps the client understand the difference of using a speaker that sits on the countertop or a pair of speakers in the ceiling. We have these full motion videos that are translated in various language. If you go to our YouTube site, you can see the Sonance experience in English, German, Portuguese, Spanish, French, Italian, and Mandarin. So we've worked with the Polaris team and some of our own teammates to help create content in Spanish that allows you to present some of this information to your clients. So you can use both our short videos that are translated as well as the full motion video that is done in English. Once the customer gets convinced that they need something special, more than a pair of speakers that blend into the space, you can talk to them about finish options. Manfredo, go ahead and pick a finish option here.
Let's do drywall. Very common in
You're boring. I thought you were a wallpaper guy, but let's go to drywall. So drywall, here we see this beautiful open space, open concept, very refined lifestyle here. This is a beautiful space. Here you can show the client how speakers are integrated for that even balanced coverage idea in the ceiling. We give you the options to show clients how the technology can disappear into the space. So we transition from, say, a pair of Sonance visual performance speakers or a system of those to James Loudspeaker small aperture, which has a grill opening of 75 millimeters, as small as 75 millimeters for a full range speaker. We also like to show the idea that invisible speakers are rarely appropriate for drywall installations. They're more flexible and they provide great performance and sound. If any of you have heard our new invisible speakers, we hope you're using them. If you haven't heard these, please work with the Polaris team to get a demonstration of them. We have demo kits all over Latin America. But this interface allows you to show the client, how do you want the sound to look in the space? Inevitably, a lot of people in a space that's being built for them that looks like this, they don't want to see anything. So once you show them the different types of audio finishes, they can make a more informed decision, thus helping you design the system more appropriately, not just for performance, but for aesthetics. I'm going to pick a different finish here. Let's go to wallpaper or veneer. We're seeing a lot of very refined spaces where people are looking for a specific design, a unique room in the house that's meaningful to them. This is an experience that we're showing with wallpaper or millwork that's treated in a room to enhance the overall look and make it special. Here's what a pair of architectural speakers look like in that room. Here is what a pair of speakers look like painted. Inevitably, we want to show them invisible speakers and where they would be placed via a stencil so that the overall look of the space is preserved. And we think that using invisible speaker technology will help drive the customer's decision, especially in a space like this. Am I okay on time, Manfredo? I show about 11:46.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have 10.
Okay. All right. So we can take this further through these other finish options, or we can go into the solutions if the customer actually has questions about the overall product portfolio, and we can show them the different types of speaker products that go into the space so that you know what's behind the installation, what's in front of the installation. I'm sorry, this is taking a second to load here. Let me just go back here. Here we go. So that you see this speaker in the ceiling, and what you're looking at is the actual speaker behind the finish, so that when the client sees the speaker behind the finish, they know that it's a real loudspeaker. It's going to have the attributes of a well-built design, but it's completely hidden and buried into the space. And so once it's finished, all they see is the opening, which is up to 75 millimeters. We can do that in these different types of finishes so that you can help the customer make a more informed decision on what the technology is going to look like once the installation is completed. I'm going to show you one more thing on the residential interface before we go to commercial. Here's the music outside interface, and this really allows you to communicate how people spend meaningful time outside and the way that audio can enhance that experience. So here you see this beautiful exterior space. We have all kinds of audio that's placed in the perimeter, and we have this radiance of audio that you can see here. We call this sound mist. And so this helps the customer understand that there are speakers everywhere, but you don't see them, but you feel it and you hear the experience. So we show different types of installations on where the speakers are pointed. What we want to educate the customer on is how traditional audio solutions don't enhance the overall enjoyment of a space that they're going to spend time living in. This is an example of where you might use surface mount speakers. What we're really trending towards is building a solution that encompasses comfortable sound throughout the entire space, using speakers placed out on the perimeter, firing inwards, as well as speakers that are placed more closely to the listening area on the surface. So with the exterior of homes, there are even more challenging places to place audio in a space. One of my favorite interfaces to show here is masonry. Here we have beautiful exterior spaces. How do we get audio into these spaces? This is where our family of James loudspeaker products really comes alive into helping make a beautiful experience for audio in an exterior space. So I can show you some examples here of masonry. Here we have a Sonance Visual Extreme speaker with a painted grille and some masonry. We can take it to the next slide and show you a QX series James loudspeaker speaker. This is a perfect installation on how the challenges of getting audio throughout the space become very real. This is a beautiful space. Of course, people are going to want music in this space. How do you do it? Well, you help the design. We'll work with you on the design, and then we can come up with solutions where we're building the speakers into the floor here. that produce special intimate area outside, perfectly designed and set at the right level so that it's easy to talk over, but you don't actually know where the sound is coming from. It's a good example in terms of masonry. The other area I like to show is surface mount. So here you look at an exterior pergola that has, say, what a lot of us would normally do, put a pair of surface mount speakers out here to present audio into the space. This is a pair of Sonance Mariner speakers in white. You could make this look a little better by using Sonance Mariner speakers in black, but we can make this space special by designing something like a wedge speaker from James that's custom built for this exterior pergola that looks like part of the exterior decor. So you can see these two wedge speakers up here on the left and right. We can take this further and even make the exterior speaker offering part of the outdoor living finish, right? So this is a way to really show the client what's possible on the exterior spaces. We love using these photos. If you have photos on this call, please submit them to Polaris. Please submit them to us if we have permission to use them. We are thirsty for more content, and we will upload them into this interface if we get quality photos and we get permission to use them. Softscape, these are our landscape portfolios options from Sonance and James. And then we have in-ceiling, freestanding. The in-ceiling offering is unique because there's a lot of different finishes on the ceiling, and we have speaker solutions from both Sonance and James that help complement and produce sound in a covered exterior opening. Anything else you want me to point out on the residential side, Manfredo?
No, good. You have covered a lot. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. Do I have a few more minutes to talk about the commercial side?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So on the commercial side, many of you are doing projects that either are restaurants, bars, maybe hotels, boutique style businesses, corporate boardrooms, smaller offices, things like that. Sonance and James Loudspeaker have a complete portfolio of products that help you design audio to look like it belongs in the space. We deliver exceptional performance with our products. It's all about helping you present the ideas to the end user, to the owner of these spaces so that they can understand how to get great sound, but also great sound that looks like it's part of that experience. So in our commercial design interface, we have the ability to give you different types of installations based upon the application, where the residential space is defined by the actual experience in the environment. In the commercial arena, this is really defined by where the speaker gets installed. So we have ceiling, we have wall, the display, and outdoor. And these are the solutions from Sonance and James that serve these product applications. If we go into ceiling, we can look at different types of form factors that are installed in commercial spaces. We have drop ceiling, hard lid, which is a finished drop ceiling in a lot of cases, wood, open ceiling, and slatted ceiling. The drop ceiling is really straightforward, right? We have a portfolio of products from Sonance and professional speakers, as well as James Loudspeaker that can be in round or square. They can be painted to match the ceiling finish that help blend the speaker into the space. The other ideas that we're promoting from not just a drop ceiling or a hard lid, really similar to what we saw in the residential space, but open and slatted ceilings. This is where in a slatted design, you have refined looks done with finished wood or reclaimed wood. Here, what you're looking at is a professional commercial space with a very high-end looking ceiling, a very specific look in the ceiling. How do you get audio in there? I think traditionally we would place speakers above these wood slats and hope for the best in terms of performance. If you look closely, you can see our SPL2 series soundbars from James that show you how the product's designed into the space. So we can make them as small as about a 1/2 meter in length, and then up to 4 meters in length that convert into multiple speakers and multiple transmissions of sound throughout that linear drop of the wood. These are really great photos to show consultants, to show end users as they're building out the vision of what their project they want to look like. My other favorite product to show in here in terms of finish is the open ceiling. The open ceiling we see a lot in loft style environments, into reclaimed industrial areas, or just trying to make the space more room friendly by creating the ceiling to have more open space, more air. There's so many different ways to put audio in these spaces. So here we're using surface mount speaker applications with Sonance Pro based upon installation on the beam. We can take these ideas to very, very complex solutions. We can make them unique in terms of a contrasting color where you see the HVAC and the speaker might match to bring some contrast to the ceiling. The other things we can do is we can take these wedge speakers, which we can place on specific areas that have projected sound at a 45-degree angle, and we can make them very unique. So here what we're looking at is a wedge speaker that covers the entire side of this beam, projecting sound with multiple speakers and multiple channels built into the enclosure. Furthermore, we can take pendants. The idea of getting audio to completely cover the space in a large open environment like this, pendant speakers make a lot of sense because you can drop them closer to the listening area or the standing area where people will actually be and not have to turn the audio system as up loud to make it sound good. We have different colored pendants in the Sonance line. We also have pendants in the James loudspeakers line. If you're looking for a different industrial design, if you're looking for customization of paint, if you're looking for higher output, we have larger transformers and things that can help these speakers perform at a level that is premium compared to the Sonance professional line. In addition, to the pendant series, we can take these SPL series soundbars from James, and this is really interesting to see, but this entire bottom of the beam is one contiguous speaker. This is our SPL2 series soundbar that's built up to 5 meters width, or we can cut it into channels to cover the entire span of the space. So we get a lot of excitement when we show these ideas to consultants or have the opportunity to show them to end users. These are all available now through the Sonance Design Gallery interface, and we can make these more interactive. We can get more content from you, and we will be working on more translation of this content in the native language of your market.
Absolutely. Excellent, Jay. And it is also not only through your portal, but we can access this tool through the Sonance webpage, right? So
yeah, if I just go to the sonance.com, over here we have the design gallery.
Designers to spread the message and easily have access. It's an excellent tool, Jay.
Great.
It's really good.
Any questions or anything else you want me to talk about?
Looking forward for CEDIA 2023 this year.
CEDIA in Denver. It's always kind of been known as the second home of Polaris controls, right?
Yes. It
will
be nice. It will be good.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on the call. Everybody be safe, take care, and I hope to see you all in Denver in a few weeks.
Excellent. Thank you, Jay.
Adios.